Greetings collectors and welcome to today's show. We're heading back to Japan to complete our Konami shooter mini-series. Previously we looked at the Parodius games on the Sega Saturn. This time around we're taking a look at its sister series, Twinbee. As with Parodius, there are a great number of entries in the series. Some of these are re-releases, compilations and system exclusives. Today I'm looking at the Twinbee collection on the Sega Saturn, the Twinbee Deluxe Pack. This pack contains the 1991 game Detana Twinbee and also the 1995 sequel Twinbee Yahoo. For an introduction to the Twinbee universe, this is a convenient starting point, but worth noting that the series debuted in the arcade back in 1985 and has had numerous editions for the avid collector to hunt down. The game comes in a standard CD jewel case with a single game disc. The colour and artwork are strong throughout and has that chunky retro arcade feel to the diagrams. Going straight into the older game, Detana Twinbee, you get a good sense of the series straight away. The graphics are cute and colourful, the sprites are larger than life and stylistically well imagined. A term that has merged from this type of game is a cute 'em up, a shooter game with a cute image as opposed to the games such as R-Type or Gradius. The aim of the game is simple as with all shoot 'em ups. Shoot down the bad guys and then do it again. If a boss shows up, shoot him down too. The distinct feature of Twinbee is the bell system, which later migrated to the Parodius series. When hitting certain clouds, a bell power-up will appear. Upon shooting the bells, they'll change colour. Everything from the shield, speed-ups and extra arms for your ship can be won. As with Parodius though, this is easier said than done. The green, blue or purple bells tend to be the most useful, but it can be very difficult to catch the bell in this state. As you're required to fire at the bell, this obviously gets interfered with by your other shots at the enemy. It can be a real challenge to try and avoid the projectiles while shooting the enemies and juggling the bells. I found that the best tactic was to try and get one of the power-ups at the very start of each stage, rather than during the more eventful parts of the level. I played this version of Twinbee some time ago and had mixed feelings. If I'm honest, the cute graphics originally put me off the game. The novelty soon wears off, and before long, you're more exposed to the truth, which is that this is actually just a very plain shooter at its core. It's worth playing, but I haven't been fully converted from playing more mainstream games just yet. As it stands, it's a solid game and does just enough to warrant a few repeated playthroughs. The second game in the collection is Twinbee Yahoo from 1995. This time around, things feel like the series has moved on. The anime introduction is more welcoming, the music more enjoyable, and as you would expect, the graphics have had an overhaul. It's also easier to appreciate the small changes, such as the additional power-ups. Destroying targets on the ground will occasionally allow an additional power-up to the bell system. These impacted the game much more, and I felt much more urgency to destroy all of the targets rather than just avoid the enemy. Other stylistic features also push this game further than its predecessors did. Whereas previous entries had had a fixed horizontal, there is now some extra space to scroll into at either side of the screen. This makes the game feel much more modern. The game also benefits from the newer generation of console. There are some standout moments as you take a 360-degree loop. It's a relatively easy camera trick, but it feels really immersive. Also, the boss fights have been given a fresher feel. On this stage boss, there are inset characters and dialogue making this seem much more like a cartoon. What really stands out though is the camera angle. It takes us from looking down on the ship to a horizontal view with vertical parallax scrolling, and all the way back again. This is a simple technique, but the presentation really sells the story here. I'm sure some Detana Twinbee fans may disagree, but I greatly prefer Twinbee Yahoo. Having no sentimental connection to this series, I think most would see the sequel as a technically superior and more enjoyable experience. The game isn't without its issues. One of my big complaints about many shooting games is when projectiles are the same colour as the background. This is an occasional hazard in the game. Also, distinguishing between collectibles and the enemy can also be a hidden danger. As everything looks to be the same cute style, it's easy to intentionally move into an enemy as they look like a helpful power-up. These are all minor quibbles though, and this entry in the series I believe is well worth a play. If you're thinking of collecting this Japanese release, then you're in luck, as the price point is a fair reflection of the game. Currently the game sells for around £15 on the UK auction sites, placing it around the $20 mark in the US at current exchange rates. The games are a decent length, and overall it's a nice alternative to other shooting series. If you're in a position to pick this one up, it's definitely worth several hours of your time. There's a lot to see in the games, so here's a small montage to give you a flavour of the collection.
Yahoo!
よくもビスマルクを沈めてくれたな。
なんだビ？
今度はこのテルクスが相手だ。デアドフラッシュ。デアドフラッシュ。デアドフラッシュ。デアドフラッシュ。デアドフラッシュ。デアドフラッシュ。デアドフラッシュ。私はまだ諦めんぞ。Yahoo!
Hello again, I hope you enjoyed today's show, and thank you for the view. Remember, you can always comment, like, subscribe, and find us on the social media sites below. Happy collecting!